And welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind, everybody. The best in the business is back in business. I'm your host, Michael Bauer, and joining me, we got the main crew. But before we get into that, I want to take a minute and talk to you about one of the most exciting ways to play fantasy football, and that's dynastyowner.com. At dynastyowner.com, it is as close to being a real NFL GM as possible. Manage your salary cap and build a team within its confines. Orphan teams as well as new teams are available now for purchase, and rookie drafts will be starting in May with a 24-hour clock. So come test your skill at dynastyowner.com. Let them know that the guys at the Dynasty Rewind sent you. We greatly appreciate it. And joining me, like always, we got Porkman. What's going on, Porkman?
I'm doing great. Just happy to be here, talk about some more RBs with the boys.
All right. Happy to have you, and always happy to have Chevin. What's good, Chev?
Nothing much. So we had a big old emergency at our apartment the other day, about a week ago. I forgot to tell it on the pod, but I walk outside and there's a freaking helicopter just hovering right above us. Then I walk to the gym and go work out. Literally guns blazing on somebody's apartment room. So I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, all right. Well,
That's scary.
we'll keep our ears peeled for that throughout the podcast. Hopefully, we make it through, and hopefully, you make it through. But joining us as well, we got Nate Christian. What's up, Nate?
Hey, I love talking running backs. This is what was my favorite part of last year. So I'm just glad we're getting past these big guys, and we're going to get into the smaller guys next week and this week, and I love it.
This is the stuff that I love. Like, we all know the main guys. If you're on fantasy Twitter, which is kind of a vindictive
Toxic.
place to be at times.
Don't say that AJ Dillon doesn't have talent.
Get
roasted.
Do not. This guy hates this podcast, dude. He really does. Should I let him back on or just? Yeah, we'll see. Troy King checking in. Troy King might be Porkman's replacement if Troy King has working internet. We'll have to find out soon enough. But yeah, Nate's right. I love talking about the lesser known guys, the guys that are going to give you great value in your rookie drafts. So this is where you need to be. You also need to be over at dynastyrewind.com, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind, exclusive podcasts, written content, and a group chat that even sometimes I check in on as well, which we know I don't like doing that. Troy King, Porkman been on that struggle internet. Let's see what Pork, what do you think about this comment on the screen?
Bro, first of all, Troy, I'm coming for you, bro.
See you soon.
I don't know what's happening right now.
What happened? Do you hear me?
Oh no.
I can hear you, but you're real laggy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm getting a new computer tomorrow anyway.
All right, cool.
Oh.
That's good. Hit up Best Buy. I hear they have good electronics there.
I get it from anywhere at this point.
They sponsor now.
If they want to, my DMs are open. You know what I mean? I'll take a Best Buy sponsorship, but you know who will not need a Best Buy sponsorship after the NFL draft? That is Travis Etienne, running back from Clemson. He's 5'10", 205 pounds, and in 4 years at Clemson, surprising a lot of people coming out this year instead of last year. He played in 55 games, 686 carries for 4,952 yards. He averaged 7.2 yards per carry, 70 touchdowns, 102 receptions for 1,155 yards, 11.3 yards per reception, and 8 touchdowns through the air. So if you want to talk about production through 3/4 of a game, Travis Etienne is your guy. And I'm just going to kick it off by saying I do not hate Travis Etienne. A lot of people think I do. I do not. When I rank prospects, I also factor to, what is their internet connectivity going to be like? Things like LAN ports and whatnot. I guess I'm going to order some other stuff for Porkman's computer too so we can get a straight up hooked in connection. But perceived ADP is something that I think about when I rank a player as well. Porkman did make a good point. He did say Michael Carter was like Travis Etienne with good vision. It's true. His ADP is going to be better as well. So as good as Travis Etienne is, and as productive as he's been throughout his collegiate career, there's a few things I don't like about him. And I don't think his vision's that great. That's my main concern about him, but that's kind of a big one for running back. But we'll get into what else I think later. Chev, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Travis Etienne? And also, I just want to know, after that, do you think he should be the running back 1 in the class? There's a lot of people that are saying that he could be running back 1. I want your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I definitely do not have him ranked as my running back one at all. It's always been Najee Harris, even up to this point. I've never changed that. So still sticking with Najee. I know Nate loves Javonte Williams. I think he might move him up to number one, depending on what he has to write for some other people. But no, I do. I think Travis Etienne, his vision, his struggles in that. I think he's just trying to play way too fast. So when he gets handed the ball, man, he gets shot out of a cannon. It looks like. I think sometimes he doesn't let the line do its job. He just breaks it up right before that even happens. So I think if he just slowed down a little bit sometimes, I think it would be a lot better for him. Just like you said, that vision is a little bit suspect just because of that, I think. I think he just wants to be so fast and so agile and hit top speed as fast as he can. So I think that's where the chaos of his vision comes into play. I think he has good hands. I think they look nice on the film. It looks like he can do some stuff after the catch too, especially if he's in open space. So, I mean, if you're watching the Ohio State game in 2019, I think he had 3 catches for like 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's just one play away from giving you 16 points or maybe even 17 points at all times. So, I mean, he's somebody that can break it open. His speed is what is best about his game. I think everybody knows that. But if he can figure out some of his vision troubles and just kind of slow the game down a little bit, and then hit the holes, I think he's going to be a lot better. He's not somebody that I see that is going to be breaking a whole bunch of tackles. It just seems like if one guy slips him up, it's most likely over unless he hits that spin move, man. He spin moves all the dang time. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of it, but I think it will work for his career. I mean, he does good things. He finds the end zone in the red zone. He finds the end zone. That's what he does best, I think, too, with his speed. I mean, when he's in the red zone, it seems like he slows down a little bit and makes those cuts a little bit better. He looks more elusive to me in the red zone, finding those holes. So I think Travis Etienne is going to be a nice player. I don't know if I really want to draft him before Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, or Najee Harris at all. So I'm probably going to hold off on drafting Etienne that early. But I mean, if he's falling to you like in the second round, if you get that lucky, I mean, he's definitely going to be somebody that you want to get targeted. I'm probably seeing him in a 1 QB league, probably going mid first or end of the first, just depending on what you need because the wide receivers are so good. But I think Travis Etienne has a chance to do good things, but he's got some stuff to work on, like you said, Mike.
Yeah, Nate, and okay, so we are in agreement that you're not putting him at running back 1.
No.
Okay, and Nate, you aren't either.
No.
Okay. On Travis.
Yeah. So Travis Etienne is my running back 2. I do have him over Michael Carter and Javonte Williams. I think he is a bit of the same thing we're seeing with Trevor Lawrence, is that they're being overanalyzed as prospects now. They've been around for so long and they've been so good for so long that, we're searching for every single flaw we can find in these guys. Travis Etienne is still very, very talented. I do see on tape the issues with the vision. Sometimes he just runs in a straight line and just keeps going that way, for better or worse. But he is one of the most athletic guys in this class. I know he said 5'10", 210 pounds, correct? Mm-hmm. Well, looking at recent pictures of Travis Etienne as he gets ready for his pro day, I mean, he might come in at 220. I mean, the guy is looking really thick, muscular, and for him to be able to keep that same speed and get bigger, I think that his size was the only thing really holding him back from being super elite. I felt like at 5'10", 210, he kind of played almost a little below that size. But if he got up to 220 and he was able to have a bit more power behind his game, then I think he could really take that next step and be an elite prospect. But like I said, athleticism, ridiculous. He can go 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds. And I liked his vision overall. I think he could struggle with his patience behind the line of scrimmage, but he's so elusive and he's such a good playmaker. He's always able to find open space. He's able to split defenders and get to the sideline, break the edge. I mean, he does all that you want for that big playability. That's why he's getting some comparisons to guys like Chris Johnson, because he has that big home run threat ability. And in 2021, in football these days, you need to be a good receiver. And with his playmaking ability plus his receiving ability, he's going to make some team very happy because he's going to score touchdowns on the ground. He's going to score touchdowns through the air. He's going to be a weapon.
one of my concerns is I want to know if he can handle a full workload, because he only ever played really 3 quarters with Clemson always being ahead. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't
you
many
rarely
times.
saw him going over like 17 carries. Like it was always like 14, 15, and then he would get his in the passing game. I mean, if he can get 20 touches, there's a good chance he's going to make one huge play.
Oh yeah.
And if he busts it open, good luck trying to catch that guy. I mean, it's just like another guy we're talking about tonight. If he's able to hit the hole and get open, he's gone. But I think you got it, Nate.
I think Chev's right, totally right. If he can get 20 touches a game, 20 plus touches a game, say like 15 carries and 5 receptions. I mean, Travis Etienne, if he gets 20 touches a game, he's going to be a easy running back 2 with a lot of running back 1 weeks. He's electric. And so I think, we had these same questions about DeAndre Swift last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have another question too. Do you think that it would be better for a guy like Travis Etienne to go to a good team as a luxury pick that has a guy there for a year so he can kind of work his way in, work on his deficiencies like his vision? And I know that people had, said that his pass catching was a deficiency in the past, but he clearly worked on that. But Nate, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you just described, like how Miles Sanders had his rookie year with Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a perfect, I don't know what landing spot that is exactly, but that would be perfect for Travis Etienne to be able to go in and not be the 2, but be the 1B of a committee with a guy who's more power back and be able to work off that. And by the end of the year, take over that lead role and be going into year 2.
Houston. They did just re-sign David Johnson. So he's slotted as their 1 right now. That would be an ideal spot for me.
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. Yeah, they don't have anything up there.
Sure don't.
Yeah, Pork, do you have anything to add to Travis Etienne?
From what I missed, I'm gonna just tell you what I kind of think about him. For me, honestly, as you were saying, if he does get those 20 touches, he will break one. But my issue is, will he break one? I think just more of his skill set, he relies too much on his speed, because when he gets to the second level, he really doesn't have another move. In the ACC, it seems as though he was just overpowering secondary. He was just bouncing off of them, doing little spin moves and just taking it to the house. So I would just say don't get too caught up in all the glitz and glamour of Etienne with the speed, because if he doesn't have like a dead leg, such as DeAndre Swift did, I'm not really too sure if he can flash and be that workhorse back that everybody wants him to be. And then at that point he might just be a third down back.
Okay. All right. So that wraps it up for Travis Etienne. Seth Robinson from the Back Row Cowboy Show saying you'd be a good fit in Atlanta. I like that.
See,
spot.
I originally liked that, but I believe the Atlanta new offensive coordinator is the guy from the Titans, right?
Mm-hmm. And they like to run the rock.
So I don't think it's as good of a fit anymore. Before that hire, I liked it a lot. I thought like halfway through the season, I was like, oh, Travis Etienne to the Falcons is perfect. Matt Ryan can dump off. They can use a guy who's quick like this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a lot of fun. But now with the new offense for next year, I think they're going to be looking for a big back. I don't know if they're going to I think free agency is probably a better spot to find what they're looking for than the draft. Because, Matt Ryan is coming up on the end of his career with the Falcons, most likely. So I'd say if I could pick a name, Chris Carson, who's now going to be hitting free agency, he would look really good with the Falcons for 1 year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Melvin Gordon style contract.
Yeah.
Maybe to 2 years.
No, I like that. That would be good. All right, so let's move it on a little bit here. And next we're going to talk about Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. People all over the place on this guy here, but he's 6 foot, 208 pounds. And in his 3 years at Oklahoma State, 33 games played, 585 carries for 3,459 yards. Well, I do want to tell you, of that 3,459, 2,094 of those came in his sophomore season. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry, 33 touchdowns. 53 catches for 479 yards. I didn't put the average down, but he did have 3 total touchdowns through the air. So Chuba Hubbard, who's the lowest on Chuba Hubbard here? I guess we'll start there.
I'm not really. I really don't know anybody else's ranking. So
yeah.
I mean, he's currently my RB8. So I don't know.
All right, we'll just start with you, Nate. How's that sound?
All right. I mean, I think I'm kind of in the middle on Chuba. I'm not super down on him. I know some people had him as their running back 1 for the class coming into the season, and I get it. I mean, he had a really bad year, and it definitely soured a lot of people's opinion on him. His flaws were ousted, like what he was supposed to be working on, and then showing that he could be better at. It just went downhill this year. But for me, I think he's a track star at the end of the day. I think he's a good running back. I think he could be a decent running back. But I think he's much more of a track star than a running back. I think, he's got that crazy speed. He's got that crazy acceleration. He can break off the big plays, much like Etienne we just talked about. Once this guy gets in space, he's done. He's going to make those big plays. But the vision's not there. The patience isn't there. Also, I wasn't super happy with his power. I thought he should have been more powerful. He's lighter than Travis Etienne, but 2 inches taller. So he definitely needs to add to that frame, to be an all-around back, to be someone I want to give the ball to every down. And also, I think he just needs to also get better as a receiver. I didn't see much in his receiving ability except for checkdowns. So I think I see why people like this guy. He's uber athletic. He's talented. It's for sure. You can see it on the tape. This guy's a step away from being a great prospect, but he just didn't take that next step. He just didn't evolve to be a better runner. He needs to be a better runner. So he'll get good draft capital.
Okay.
Day 2 pick.
Do you have a spot in mind that you'd like to see him go to?
I don't have a spot specifically, but I think day 2, he's definitely going to be picked by the end of the 3rd round.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good draft capital. Chev, your thoughts on Chuba?
Yeah. Chuba Bubba. No, I think he's one cut away from doing the same thing like Etienne can do. I think he's just one cut and he needs to go. Like Nate says, he's kind of soft when he gets around tacklers, which is very annoying because he actually does have pretty decent size from what I believe I remember. So that's definitely a downfall for him. His speed is definitely the best part about his game. He has good vision, I think, as well to possibly break it open. But I think he has sometimes the same struggles. Like he just wants to run so fast and get going that sometimes his patience is just not there. So I think that's definitely going to be his biggest holdup as well. There's a couple times too where me and Porkman are watching his pass blocking today, and that guy literally stood there for one play and did nothing while he got hit by another guy. So this guy he's the nail and not the hammer, and that's not something that you want as even just in an NFL standpoint. Like you don't want a guy like that to be in there on 3rd down kid. If he goes to Seattle, he's getting Russell Wilson killed out there. So like that's huge. And Russell Wilson's already complaining about getting sacked, which he has a point, but you just don't want that guy to be getting that kind of contact, and he's just not blocking. So I think Chuba has potential to be really, really good, especially with how much speed he has. But it's going to take him, I think, sitting in a role where he's kind of learning for the first year, maybe on an aging veterans contract where that guy's going to be exiting the next year. So I do like Chuba. I think he has good potential, and he's got good pass catching ability, I think. But there's just some things about his game where he's just a little bit too soft, and he braces contact. So, like, he's not looking to bounce off of it. He just wants to brace it and take it down easy. So 2020 was a bad year for him, and it was just a bad year for OSU too. Like their line sucked, their atmospheres sucked because Gundy scandals during the offseason. So him and Chuba actually got into it pretty good as well during the offseason. So I was definitely surprised Chuba came back after all that happened, but what are you going to do? Chuba came back and struggled with injuries, and his offensive line didn't do too much to help him, but I think he's going to be okay.
Chev, what you said too, I wrote down on here, he breaks arm tackles, but he's not overly powerful for his size, and he'll need to put on weight. And he's also not great after initial contact minus the arm tackles. Yeah, I just thought that he could, for being 6 foot, 208 pounds. I just think he could be better.
And in the red zone too, it's not like ETN where ETN can use his shiftiness a little bit. That's just not a power in Chuba's game. It's just not there for him to make those plays that what ETN's doing. He doesn't have like that knack for the end zone when he's that close, and he's not going to bulldoze his way in there most of the time. He may fall forward, but he's not being that presence. It's almost like AJ Dillon last year. We watched AJ Dillon take it easy sometimes and not run through contact. So maybe Chuba has whatever AJ Dillon has. I don't know. We need to talk to those guys and see if it's just a mental thing or what.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the big difference between ETN and Chuba, I mean, there's a lot, but one of the biggest ones is with their athleticism. I say, yeah, Chuba's talented. He's athletic, but he's a straight line runner. He's a track star. That's what he is. That change of direction, that lateral ability is not there at that elite level. The speed is, the burst is, but moving laterally, it's just not as smooth as guys like ETN.
You talk about the hips for us, Pork Man.
Yeah. He does have tight hips. It's just straight tight hips. And like for me, honestly, it's just I think he's more of a scheme fit. So when he does make that work and he's a one cut runner, he just has to go to the right team.
Anything else to add, Pork?
Nah, that's it. Because y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head on everything.
Well,
Because Chef and I were just
hit the
Yep.
Chuba on the head.
Yeah. So yeah, because me and Chef were pretty much watching tape before this, and he pretty much said all I was going to say. It was just more of a scheme fit for me.
All right, I hear you. And all right, well, let's move on to our last guy. And Porkman, while we're moving on to our last guy, check the private chat, please. And that is Jermar Jefferson from Oregon State. And he is 5'10", 217 pounds. A little bit harder to find some. Where are we going, Pork?
I'm here.
Are you using your phone?
I'm using my phone. I have to. My freaking computer's doo-doo.
That's the Pork vision.
All right. All right. So Jermar Jefferson from Oregon State played 3 years, 27 games, 514 carries, 2,923 yards. He averaged 5.7 yards per carry, 27 touchdowns, 43 receptions for 299 yards, averaged 7 yards per reception, and 2 receiving touchdowns. That is it through the air. So he does everything good, doesn't do anything great. Right?
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that.
He's fast.
That's it. I mean, he's a little bursty.
He doesn't,
but he's not. I wouldn't say he doesn't have long speed, right?
Yeah, he's not breaking it open for a touchdown. Like even in the film that we watched, like the runs that he had, he busted them open, but he got caught. So I mean, like he gets there, but
I was watching his film, and I'm like, okay, this guy has a little bit of burst, but at the same time, he can't get to the edge. You know, He doesn't have the long speed. He's not athletic. And I'm like, writing my notes, I'm like, big play is not his forte. Like, he's not very good at making big plays. All of a sudden, dude runs 2 80-yard touchdowns in the rest of the game. I'm like, what? Doesn't make sense. That shouldn't happen. I don't see athleticism with this guy at the next level. He just doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the burst to, rely on that. I'm not saying he can't succeed, but he can't just rely on his athleticism. He does have good vision. He has good size. I like his frame. He has decent power. And I do like his contact balance. I did think that he was very good with that. He didn't go down at first contact. Ankle biters didn't get him. He did pretty good with leg churn. So that's what I'm calling it, leg churn.
So with our lingo is nuts in here.
I love that. He gets there, but he just doesn't get there. And that's a Chevin Nooney quote right there. I love it.
That's a Michael Scott quote right there. That was from The Office, I think.
Yeah. But overall, Jermar Jefferson, he just doesn't do it for me. I have him graded out as just like a serviceable running back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't see the upside here.
I think if he's on a good team and he's the backup and gets some touches here and there, or if you have the starter go down for a game or two, he can come in and be relevant. He might end up being more DFS relevant than actual fantasy relevant for you. The only thing I have to add, Nate, you hit the nail on the head. He's fast. He doesn't have elite top end speed. He burns linebackers and not defensive backs.
Mhm.
So he can get past the defensive line and the linebackers, but 9 times out of 10, I saw a defensive back chase him down as long as they were in good enough position to do so. That's really all I have to add to him. I mean, I like him. I think depending on landing spot, I'll look to add him late in my rookie drafts, or if he slips to be a free agent, I'll take a shot, and he's definitely worth a taxi stash, I think, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think his best part about his game is everything behind the line. I think his vision and his reading of the blocks, I think is incredible. I think he just has that patience, sort of like a Le'Veon Bell type like that. I think he can read it and go through the hole that he's supposed to go through. So I think he's definitely got that going for him. If nothing's there, he's not going to get very much. But if the hole is open, he can do some damage. I mean, he's falling forward every time he gets down, and he makes people pay sometimes too. He's not going to get taken down real easy. So I think he's a good prospect, but like you guys said, I don't see he's not like an elite. He just does everything. So he just does it good. That's it.
So what you're saying is he gets there, but he just doesn't get there.
Sometimes he doesn't get there, but most of the time he does.
Well, I feel you on that, Chef. Because I mean, I really do like him. I like the way he runs in between the tackles, and his vision, like you said, is pretty great. But when it comes down to it, he's a great college player, but he'd be like a mediocre NFL player. I see him as a third down back somewhere, and like you said, Mike said, I think he'll be more of a taxi squad type of guy.
I can see him, like Mike was talking about him being almost like in an Alexander Madison role where he's like the second guy there. I think that could definitely be serviceable for him, but I don't see him ever being the guy unless an injury or so. So that's where I'm at with you, Mike. I think we're on the same page.
What I'm going to recommend then is, when Dalvin Cook, like he's doubtful for this week, but then he ends up playing, but you don't know that ahead of time. And everybody is throwing the world at you to get Alexander Madison off your team. If he's in that spot, you take it, you smile about it. And then when he goes out and he does 12 carries for 20 yards and a fumble, you smile about that too. Well, Madison did that to me the one week.
12 carries for like 37 yards in it.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. So do we have anything else to add? Because we do have a question from a viewer here. No,
I think we're good with Jermar.
All right.
Jermar.
So this is JBCHO knows. I don't know how to. Sorry. Thoughts on Khalil Herbert? Nate, I'm going to kick this to you. Since you're a Devy guy.
Yeah. So Khalil Herbert, he was a graduate transfer out of Kansas. He went to Virginia Tech this year and did really well. He's gonna kind of be like that Zach Moss-ish player. PFF loved him. PFF loved Zach Moss last year. Khalil Herbert's a very good runner. He's great vision. He has good size. He has really good NFL size where he's not too big, but he's not too small. He's thick frame. He has a little bit of burst, but he's not, uber athletic. He doesn't have good change of direction. He's not great top speed, but he's a good runner. And he's going to get decent draft capital. I think the NFL is going to like him more than the fantasy community. And I think he's going to be a guy that is going to probably have a similar role that we just talked about with Jermar Jefferson, where he's a number 2 somewhere. But I think Herbert is a guy that, if given the opportunity, could be a really annoying running back because he would be good. If say for instance, the Steelers don't draft Najee Harris in the first round and they draft Khalil Herbert in the 4th round, I'd probably like Khalil Herbert as an NFL runner more than Benny Snell or Anthony McFarland. He's just a solid runner. He's not going to give you a lot of passing game upside. He's not going to break off big plays. But this is a guy that could go out there and have 20 carries for 100 yards. Not a lot of 10-plus yard runs, but a lot of 4 and 5 yard, 6-yard runs. He's a guy that could be very serviceable if given opportunity. So like I said, he's going to be more liked by the NFL community than the fantasy community, but he's probably a guy you want to get at the end of your rookie drafts because he'll get the opportunity at some point. Annoyingly so. He'll get the opportunity, and then you can either sell or, ride it for a week or two.
I did just look forward. We're actually going to be talking about him in 2 weeks. So that's not this next upcoming week. That's the week after. But next week, Spotlight might be on our very own Nate Christian because we're talking about Puka Williams next week. So be still his heart. It's going to be a good one. We excited about that, Nate?
Yeah, I'm excited about Puka. I hope Ziegler shows up and watches.
We'll send him a link.
I'll send him a link because I'd love to tell him that he's trash right to his face. It'd be fantastic. So
all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, I mean, he never responded when I told him he was trash. So it's okay. That's great. Well, that's it. We said we were going to keep some of these shows a little bit shorter, and there's nothing wrong with that. We hit it home pretty good, I think. But before we go, Chev, I believe you have something for us like always.
Yes, I do. So we're going to be in Psalms 119, 105. It says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." So I kind of look at the Bible almost being my playbook, and that guides me how I act, how I am supposed to live my life. So when it says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path," what I get out of that is the word is going to lead me in the right direction. It's going to give me guidance like a lamp would. A lamp gives you light so that you can see and you can see where you're going. So I think the word in the Bible, if you guys dig into it and there's something maybe you don't understand, or maybe it's something you really do understand, there's always questions that you can ask. It's always good to talk to somebody about it. But I think it's just like a playbook, like an NFL player would follow. It guides them in the right direction, and it leads them to where God wants you to go. So that's kind of where I see it going. It's a lamp to my feet, and it guides me in the right direction. So that's what I got for tonight, boys.
All right. And Chev, I got to make sure. All right. I almost always, they need to not put exit solo layout and remove from stream right on top of each other. Because every time I almost remove you from the stream, and it's not on purpose. It's just too close to each other. I actually do that at work a lot. They have save and delete all right on top of each other. So it's really not good when you just spent 40 minutes doing a long repair order. But that being said, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Please make sure you check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. Lots of great stuff over there. New mock drafts dropping every Monday. # mock draft Monday on our YouTube channel. So head out over there. These guys all do a fantastic job with the mock drafts. I can say that I usually don't have a hand in that, but you don't need me for that. You guys are killing it. So make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on, tell your friends. And if you have any teams that you want looked at, we will do a team audit for you. We'll have a bunch of the guys get together, who's ever available. We'll do an audit. We'll make a video of it and upload it to YouTube. So not only helps you, but it helps the rest of the community too, because you can kind of look at different teams through a different set of lenses here too. So make sure you do all that. Subscribe, rate, and review. And until next time, Porkman, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at FF Porkman.
All right. You can find him at FF Echo Man for right now. And Nate, how about yourself?
You can find me at Nate NFL and putting out content.
And Chev, how about yourself?
You can find me at Chev Boyardee, boy with an I. But the Bears, you just tagged Allen Robinson. Go make a deal for some kind of quarterback that is going to help us out. Please. Pretty please. So we can get this guy happy and maybe get him under contract too.
Yes. And I would like to say that almost everybody has changed their Twitter handles to be really specific to their identities, but there's one that's just a little bit lacking. Nate, I think I have a good one for you if you ever want to change it. We'll talk about that after the show.
Wow.
But
Wow. I thought he was
I
going to
changed
talk about
it once.
Yeah, I thought he was going to talk about his new name, not yours. Always.
Oh, yeah, you can see it. It's up on the screen. It's at Rewind CEO if you want to follow me there, but I'd much rather you follow the show at Dynasty Rewind. Until next time, everybody, be kind, please rewind. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're coming at you with more running backs and a Patreon show about linebackers, so sign up. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you then, everybody.